Hey there, what's up? I'm Jennifer Blanchard. I'm an author of both fiction and nonfiction. Here are some of my books, and you can find more of them on Amazon. I'm also a screenwriter and a developmental book editor. And I work with writers who write fiction and nonfiction to help them turn the book they have into the book they want. Before I dive in, I just want to make sure you're clear on whether or not you're in the right place. So I'm going to go over the differences between a developmental editor and the other types of editors. So a developmental editor is going to be looking at your book as a whole. They're going to be looking at it from the perspective of a reader as well as an editor. Does this have all of the craft elements that need to be there? Is it got structure? Does it have pacing? Is it working as a whole? Is it cohesive? Is the story actually moving forward? Is it working? Is there character arc? Is there all the other stuff that needs to be there related to craft or not? If you're doing nonfiction, then same thing. We're looking for, whether or not you have the right structure, whether it's paced properly, the voice of the writing, whether or not everything is clear, if there's information missing, if there's gaps that need to be filled. And this would be for both fiction and nonfiction. So that's what a developmental editor does. They don't look at the words specifically to edit whether or not there's correct grammar or spelling or punctuation or any of that stuff. We literally just look at the overall book, right? So we read it all the way through and then we give you feedback on the book as a whole. Does it work? What's working? What's not? And how can you fix it? A line editor or a proofreader is going to be an editor who actually reads the book line by line, editing each word, letting you know if there's misspellings, if there's punctuation problems or grammar issues or any of that stuff. That's not what a developmental editor does. And I don't recommend that you do both of these things at the same time, because the problem with doing that, and I've seen writers do that, but the problem with doing that is you hire a developmental editor to give you feedback on your book, right? What's working, what's not, and tell you how to fix it. Well, once you have all that, you're going to want to go back and make a revision, right? And do the changes and all of that, which is going to be really hard to do if you've already done a line edit on there, because now you just kind of wasted money because now you've got feedback to make the book better and revise it, but now you also have a line edit on the book that you're basically revising and writing over. So you don't want to do both of those things together. So what I always recommend is always hire a developmental editor, because that is a person who's going to be able to tell you the truth about whether or not your book works, whether or not it's cohesive, whether or not it's engaging, whether or not it's informative enough. If you're writing nonfiction, if you're writing fiction, whether or not it's an engaging and vicarious story for your reader. That's what we're going to look at. We care about your actual book, the actual story, the actual writing, as far as does this work? And then once you've got your changes done, then you hire either a proofreader or a line editor, or just find a friend who knows about writing and ask them to read the book and do some line editing for you, pointing out the punctuation errors and grammar and stuff like that. So that is the difference between the different types of editors. So if this is resonating with you, if you're like, yes, that's what I need, a developmental editor who's going to tell me where it's doing really well, where it's not, and how I can fix it to make it even better, then you're in the right place. Keep watching. If that's not what you're looking for, then you can just turn off this video and go about your way. So moving forward, this is how I work with my clients on developmental editing. So first of all, you're going to reach out to me when you're ready and say, hey, I'm ready. Here's my word count. Let me know how much word count you have for your manuscript. And then I will send you a payment link. I will send you a bunch of questions to answer that just give me an overview of what it is you're sending me, what the story is, what the goal of the book is. And then once you've sent your payment, your responses to the questions, and your final manuscript for me to look at, then I will email you back with the specific date that you will get your feedback back from me. It takes 30 days. So from the date you make your payment and submit your manuscript, you get 30 days, and then I will submit the feedback back to you at that point. Once you have your feedback, you get to schedule a call with me where we actually get to discuss the feedback. You can ask me questions. We can brainstorm or come up with ideas if there's anything that needs to be fixed, and whatever else you need to move forward with your book project. Now, I'm going to mention that most editors don't do phone calls. So this is actually a rare thing that I do, because I like to not only work with writers in a closer way, but also because I want you to be able to ask questions, be able to engage with me one-on-one, and not have to email me back and forth 100 times after I send you the feedback. Now, once we've done the call, if you have additional questions as you're doing your revision, if you have anything else that comes up, you can absolutely email me, and I'm happy to, go back and forth with you. But I just want you to know that you get that phone call after I've done the edits, so that you have that opportunity to speak with me one-on-one directly. So that is my process. That's how it works. And I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions right now, because I get pretty much the same questions from everybody when they email me. So let me just kind of go through them. First of all, I don't do pre-editing phone calls. So that's a question I get asked a lot. Can we get on the phone and talk about this? I don't do pre-editing phone calls. The reason I don't do that is because you get a phone call as part of your editing package. And the other reason is because I don't really have much to say to you until I've read your book. So we might get on the phone, but then I won't have anything to say other than just me walking you through everything I'm explaining here. So if you have questions about this stuff, you can feel free to email me, and you can email me as many questions as you have until you feel comfortable with me and wanting to actually move forward. But I'm not going to get on the phone with you before we do the editing service to answer questions or anything like that, because it just takes too much of my time, and I only have the availability to do 5 books a month, and so I need to save that time for working with my clients who've hired me. And so that's why I don't do pre-editing phone calls. You can have a phone call with me after you do your edit with me, and you'll get to ask me as many questions and all of that, but I don't get on the phone with people before they've hired me. So that is the first frequently asked question that I get. Another frequently asked question I get is what kind of feedback do I give, right? So how do I give feedback? What are the notes that I give, etc. So I am a very, very, very passionate editor and writer and storyteller, and I just really believe in craft and in making sure your book is the best product that it could possibly be before you put it out there. And I make sure to do that due diligence with my books, and I make sure to do it with yours. So I am going to be 100% honest with you. Now, this is not for everybody, because not everybody wants you to be honest with them. You might think that you do, but you might not be able to handle it. So if you're not somebody who can handle honesty, because I'm going to be very honest with you about your book, about your story, and if you can't handle that, then I would recommend you don't hire me, because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to say it in a critical way, but I am going to be very constructive with you, and I'm going to tell you what isn't working, why it's not working, and how to fix it, so that you have what you need to be empowered to go take this, go make your changes, do a revision, and feel really confident about the book that you're finishing up with and putting out into the world. So that's the kind of feedback I give. And I not only give you overview feedback, so I'm basically listing out everything that's working, that's not working, and how to fix it, but then I also give you page by page as I go through, and if I notice things like this doesn't make sense, or this isn't clear, or could you explain this more, or this doesn't tie into anything else, or whatever, I make comments on all that stuff too. So you're going to get not only an audio overview from me that has everything that's working, everything that's not, and how to fix it, but you're also going to get a feedback document with that same information and the page-by-page breakdown of anything that isn't working or anything that caught my attention as I was reading the actual manuscript. So you're going to have a really, really just cohesive feedback document that you can use to now go and make your revisions, go make your changes, and make your book a million times better than it was when you first sent it to me. So that is the feedback that I give. That's how I do it. And then, like I said, you get the phone call after so that you can talk to me one-on-one, ask questions, and whatever else you need to move forward. If you're resonating with the stuff I'm saying here, if you resonate with my energy and you're like, yes, I want to work with this woman, I want to hire her to be my editor, then click the button below to send me an email with your word count of your manuscript, and I will get back to you with the other information, the payment link, the questions to answer, and everything else you need to know to get started with me. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about here or anything that I didn't talk about here, feel free to click the button again and ask me whatever questions you have. I want to make sure that you are getting really clear on whether or not this is right for you and whether or not I'm the editor for you to work with. So feel free to ask me whatever questions you might have. Always happy to answer them for you. I'm very excited to work with you. I have a limited amount of people that I'm able to work with each month, because not only do I edit books, but I write my own, and so I need to balance my time. So I only have about 5 spots a month for editing clients, and so I don't hold spots for people unless you've actually paid a deposit to hold the spot, or if you've signed up right away, then your spot is guaranteed. But I don't hold spots for people, so if you're not ready yet, please don't reach out to me and ask me to hold you a spot for next month or next week or whatever. When you're ready to actually say yes and do this, that's when you reach out to me and tell me you're ready to go, and then I'll send you the stuff you need to sign up. Hopefully I've answered all the questions that you might have, but if not, hit the button below and let me know. And if you're ready to sign up, then just hit the button, send me the email with your word count, and I will get back to you soon. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.